morning, my name is Katinka. I'm the seamstress at the cottage and welcome back. Today I'm doing a Sunday roundup. I find that I used to do Friday sews and I still do them when I can, but by Friday I usually don't have much done. Butter coffee, the best. So by Fridays I usually don't have much done because I work and there's other things that I have to attend to in the week. So I usually do my sewing on a weekend. Now, this weekend, we had quite an important commitment for the whole weekend, so I haven't done a lot of sewing, but I did get some alterations done for my other mother. So I've been friends with my friend for almost 30 years. And if you're friends with somebody for that long, then their mother becomes your mother. So she needed some tops that I had to alter for her. So I did that over the weekend and I also did some other alterations. But otherwise, I really did not do a lot of sewing. So as I said last week in one of my community posts, I went on an adventure. So I have a friend that lives in the US and we've actually met on Instagram. And since 2017, every time I come to the US, I would visit her and she's just awesome. So I spent time with her, and then while I was with her last weekend until Monday, she took me on a road trip to go and visit another friend of ours who lives like almost in the Ozarks. And it was just such a lovely road trip. I'm still amazed at the US, how big it is. So South Africa, from one side to the other side, is about 2,000 kilometers, no, a bit less. It's about 1,500 kilometers. And here, it's almost the size of a state. So she's like, no, we're just going to visit our friend quickly. And it was a 3-hour trip there. So a 6-hour round trip. So we spent 6 hours on the road. Now in South Africa, if you drive that much, then you usually will actually go for not just for a day. So I found that very interesting, but it was so nice to see that friend. I will add some footage of everything. But here's the thing. Sometimes when you are a creative person, you kind of need new inspiration. And going to a fabric store or finding a new pattern is not enough to give you that inspiration. So I find to visit in different places and be inspired by people's way like my one friend, she's brilliant at draping vintage and antique linens for curtains, for example. And just to see how other people do things. And then her husband is a knife maker, and I spend time with him in his workshop and just experience how he thinks and how he creates. And it's that thing of surrounding yourself with other creatives that's outside of the sphere where you are creating in, because it just gives you that new way of looking at creativity. So I found the weekend away, or it was like a long weekend. It was really just so good for me to just be re-inspired for new creations and just to look at things differently.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like a press.
Yeah, also the worst. And dip one side in so that they kind of get, butter on the top. It needs to be on like 100. Made this.
Oh, I wish we had it. Ooh. Look at that.
I find that life can get overwhelming sometimes and mundane. And this visit to my friend in her old house with antique linens covering the windows, whimsical chandeliers, and vintage lace, it gave me new inspiration and it just inspired my creative side again. Sometimes I love spending time with other artisans from different practices, and I kind of find it inspirational to see how they do stuff. And to spend time in their workshops. I'm going to show you my dream sewing room. This belongs to my friend. And I could see myself creating in a space like this. And one day, when I have my own space again, I might just set it up like something like this. So that was a lot of fun. Another thing that happened this week is I have been knitting. My jersey is growing and I'm really excited to get it done, but it's going to take time. So it's now there. Oops. And I really love the texture of this yarn. This is Lion Brand Fisherman's yarn, and it's actually really good value for money. So if you ever want this type of yarn, they have it in like the natural fibers of the sheep. So this is like the white, the cream sheep, and then they had there's like a brown and a heathered color. So there's all these different colors that you can actually choose from. That's natural fibers, which I love, of course. So yes, I've been working on this. I have been working on my mittens and my socks, but it didn't grow a lot, so I'm not going to show that. And then I did get some patterns. I know I said the last time that I don't need more patterns, but patterns in South Africa is extremely expensive. So I decided that my sewing friends, I used to have a sewing school in South Africa. It was not big. It was about, at its biggest, there was like 10 people. And once a month on a Saturday, I would give a class and we would start maybe at 10 o'clock, finish at 3 o'clock. And by the time you go home, you had something that you finished. So we would make like pillowcases, handbags, pants, tops, aprons, whatever. So I would choose all these different things to make to teach certain skills. Like with the handbags, it was just like a shoulder bag that goes over your shoulder, like from there to there. Those ones teach you how to put the zip in. And then the aprons taught you how to do piping, because there's piping right around. So each lesson had a purpose why we would do it. And then when the person got to a point where they were more secure in their sewing, then I would say, okay, we have an open Saturday. You bring something you want to make and we'll work through it. And I used to love it. But so with that, I've made a lot of friends, and a lot of them are still in South Africa. And patterns are really hard to come by. And when you find them, they're so expensive. So I went to the last $1.99 sale from Joann's, and I got a few patterns that I knew my friends would love. And I'm going to show you those patterns now. But first, I want to talk about the dress I'm wearing. There is a video up. I will try and link it if I remember. But this is the Nomi ME 2016. And it is really, really lovely. I love how it wears. I used some old tablecloths that my sister found at an auction house for £2. She found this whole black bag full of tablecloths, vintage tablecloths, and it cost her £2. And I've made a top out of that bag yet already, which is also, there's a video up. And I've made this dress, and there's the whole white collection that I still need to make something out of. So I'm quite excited about that. But I used this pattern. I did not make it, so I did change the waistline because it's quite tight and I don't have a waist. So I just let it out a little bit by adding in the center front and center back. And then otherwise, I followed the pattern as is. And also the sleeve, the view A, that's the one she's wearing. It's elastic, and I don't do well with elastics. My tactile intolerance gets over the wall, and by the end of the day, I want to strangle somebody. So in the end, I took the tablecloth hem and I just added the cuff. But overall, I am really happy with this dress, and I could advise you, this is, if you want a flowy dress that's got some interesting features on the pattern, this is the pattern you should make. It was so much fun, and I've been loving wearing it. Now, let's look at the patterns I got. So for my one friend, she loves dungarees. I got this one, Simplicity S9590. It's just a plain pair of dungarees. And then In the back, it's got pockets. Now, I do have this pattern which I draw up myself, and I've been using it for a long time, but I do think my friend will appreciate to have a real pattern. Another friend of mine loves interesting pants. So I got Simplicity S8922. And she just loves this type of pants where it pulls up and goes smaller at the bottom but don't have a cuff. So I got this one for her, and I think she will love it. Then I got this for me. I think when I just found Pinterest in, I think it was 2014 or 2016, I was so inspired. I didn't know about Pinterest at that stage, and it was like my world opened up. And there were a pair of pants on there, a pair of grey linen pants with all these little tucks. And I always thought I wanted to make it. So I came across this pattern, Simplicity 9715, and it is exactly that pattern. This is made out of a rayon, the one she's wearing, but I want to make it out of a linen, a soft linen, maybe medium weight linen, or actually a lightweight linen would be nice. And I think I want to make it in that grey that I saw for so many years ago. And also, the shirt on here is actually also a very nice pattern, and it's an easy shirt to make. So that is something I'm going to take with me to South Africa. And while I'm there, I will make the pants most likely, because I do have some linen that I can play with over there. Next up is Simplicity S9265. It's just a tiered dress with a side dart, and it's loose, and you know me and loose dresses. So at $2.99, I had to bring it home. And then there is this one. I think I want to make this for my sister. My one sister is getting married, and that's part of the reason why I'm going home. And so I'm going to make a wedding dress. But for the other sister, she's got this beautiful waist. Oh, I was always so envious of her waist. And she will look stunning in this dress. I must just convince her that this is the dress she needs to wear for the wedding. So I am going to make this dress as well when I'm there, if she lets me. And then I love sailor pants. I did draw up a pattern. It worked out okay, but I decided I would like to, and I gave the pants away. My friend looked nicer in it as I did. So I think the Simplicity 9S9612. I love the top and I love the pants, and I think that's something I want to make for summer. Maybe in a medium weight denim, or no, actually, I think it would look really nice in a heavy linen. You know, that heavy linen that I used to make sheets of when I was visiting my friend. She went to Tuscany a few years ago, and she found some amazing linen bedding, but vintage linen bedding. And I was sleeping under these sheets that were like thick, heavy linen. It was so nice. So I want linen like that. I did try and convince her that I cut up her sheets, but she was not interested. I don't know why people don't want me to cut up their sheets. What's wrong with them? Anyway, the next one is Simplicity S9382. Now, I've been seeing a similar one. It's just a bit wider on Amazon and on Pinterest, and I love it. And I've decided I want to make it. And I can reinvent the wheel and just draw it up, but why should I? This one is already drawn up. I might just give it more volume for the pants. I'll decide. But I'm actually tempted to make the shorter version, because I've got quite a lot of longer jumpsuits. But I think I would like that shorter version quite a lot. So we'll see. So that's what happened just before I left for my friend's visit. And I think that's it. I haven't done much more. And it's actually okay. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and that you are rested and refreshed for this next week, and that it will be a productive and a fruitful week. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.